Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to start by expressing my deep sorrow for the hardships facing the people of California right now. This past week I've devoted much of my time to praying for rainfall and comfort and peace for everyone affected by these trying times. Here in the South, we just weathered our first winter storm of the season, and even though I'm not the biggest fan of the cold, I must admit that there is something a bit thrilling about the first snowfall or just snow in general. It is absolutely beautiful, especially for me being from Florida. It never snows in Florida, so every time I see it, I do get super happy and it just fills my heart. My morning routine has become one of my favorites. Before we even get out of bed, we start our morning by listening to a devotional on the Glorify app, setting a peaceful tone for the day. Then I grab my Bible and I spend about 20 to 30 minutes reading and reflecting. After that, I head downstairs to make breakfast, and once we've eaten, we dive into another devotional. This one is focused on couples. We wrap up our morning by discussing the topics together, and it's a beautiful way to start the day by connecting to each other. I like everything to be nice and tidy before I start work, so I make sure to make our bed each morning. Then it's time to get down to business and go to work. Thankfully, all I have to do is just walk a few steps to my office. I wanted to include this video of the snow because it's all about preserving memories for me. When we lived in Florida, we always enjoyed looking back at our videos from our time here before and from North Carolina. So I know how important it is to document moments like this. I'm taking a quick break from work, though it doesn't feel much like a break because I am consumed by the news. I am seeing what's happening in California, and it's just absolutely terrible. I was freezing when I got upstairs, but thankfully, my heating blanket really comes in handy on days like these. With all this distressing news lately, I really needed some time with God. Reading the Bible always helps me calm down. It makes me feel better. If you're ever feeling anxious, I recommend turning to God first, not last. Whether it's through prayer or reading the Bible or listening to some praise and worship music, it can make a big difference. It was finally dinner time. It was Friday night after work, and the power had flickered on and off a few times, and we actually lost power there. I think my husband had to go turn on the breakers. So I just wanted to cook really quickly before we lost power in case we were to lose power. I didn't want to have like things on the stove or the oven going, but I really wanted a chicken pot pie. So I set myself out to make it for the first time. I was very loosely following a recipe. I didn't have all the ingredients that it required, but I have gotten so used to cooking now that I can pretty much work my way around the kitchen and make things work, even if I don't have the exact ingredients that a particular recipe is asking for. I didn't have a pie recipe here, so I just used puff pastries and it worked okay. My only recommendation is to probably cook the puff pastry, the bottom layer first before doing this little number right here, because I don't think it cooked all the way and that was a bummer. So if I do it again using a puff pastry, I will definitely put it in the oven first, cook the bottom layer, and then add my topping and then the top layer. And that way I can just be sure that it all cooked thoroughly. Now, in my opinion, it came out really good. My husband loved it. We both enjoyed it. And you're going to see the final product here in a minute. But my camera kept going out of focus and I just couldn't get a clear shot of it once it was cut and on the plate. But let me just tell you, it came out really good. For it not to be like the real true recipe, it tasted just like it. And coincidentally, the best pot pie I ever had was in California at the Grove. I don't even remember the name of the restaurant, but pot pies are one of my favorite meals. And I always say that my favorite pot pie that I ever had was in California, and actually didn't even dawn on me till now that I was actually making a recipe that I enjoyed so much from my time there. Now it was dinner time and I did set a candlelight, not so much because I was having a candlelight dinner, but mostly because we were afraid that we were going to lose power, and I just wanted to make sure that we had at least some light if we lost power. After dinner, I wanted to make some cookies, but I was not about to start baking from scratch after spending all that time in the kitchen and finally washing the dishes. I didn't want to start all over. So I had these gluten-free cookies that I just popped in the oven and they were done in 12 minutes and no mess. Now, like I mentioned, this was Friday night and we like to play board games, but more specifically, we like to play Scrabble. So that is pretty much how we ended the night, was with a Scrabble game and cookies, and it was cold and cozy and beautiful, and the power never went out. All right, you guys, that is it for me. I pray this video finds you healthy and happy and in your home, and I pray for all of those that are not in their home tonight. I will see you again in the next video. Until then, God bless you.